Hey guys, Solith here, and today we're going to engage in one of my favorite pastimes, which is posting malicious rage bait on the internet. So, for some background information, 2 videos ago I posted on what I think qualifies for the best rifle for SHTF, and that generated a lot of flack towards me for not including the AKM or AK-47 or just the AK platform in general among being a suitable candidate for the quote-unquote best rifle for SHTF. So we're going to just go over a little bit why exactly I don't think it qualifies for that position or that title, and why the M4 platform / AR-15 is just more suitable, especially in the United States, for that particular situation. As for my experience with AKs, I've handled quite a few of my friends' rifles that were AKs. Some of them were made by PSA, so they weren't really AKs in the truest sense. The only real AKM I've handled, I've only got to play with it just a little bit one time. And as for myself, I used to own a Molotov Vepr up until quite recently, where I traded it for some night vision. So I think on my end I got a pretty good deal. First thing in regards to the AK platform is actually modernizing the gun itself. A lot of AKs, especially if you're getting like a Yugo or like I did, a Molotov Vepr, they're going to come with just standard wooden or plastic furniture, and it's quite a hassle that I've seen for people to actually go through the process of getting a new handguard or a receiver mounted optic rail or a replacement rail dust cover mounted to the platform. You know, you're racking up enough money that, speaking of gunsmithing, in terms of just a platform comparison, the AK is just more knowledge intensive and tool intensive in terms of repairs and modifications. So if you have any like catastrophic failures on like an AK and some of the parts are still salvageable and you just need to swap some stuff out, it's going to take a good bit more knowledge base and some of the tools that you're going to need, and just quite frankly a metalworking skill in order to swap some of those parts out. And in comparison, just the AR-15 really doesn't require much of anything. Maybe let's say maybe like a punch. You might need to like set castle nuts. I don't know, armor's wrench, a drill if you want to drill your gas block. Generally speaking, that AR-15 is just going to be far more economical and just easier effort-wise than the AK platform will. Segueing off of that point, in terms of parts availability, especially in the United States, you can go to pretty much any gun store and find magazines, triggers, handguards, rails, bolt carriers, receivers, all for the AR-15 platform. And in my experience, I find very little, if anything, for the AK platform. Sometimes in most gun stores around me, they don't even carry magazines. At most, what you're going to find for the AK is just going to be the ammunition and maybe some hand grips. You really think about that in a SHTF situation, you want the parts to be readily available for if and when that firearm stops functioning properly, so you can swap some stuff out, and you want it to be as easy as possible and, you know, least time consuming as possible. So I think just the AR just has such a significant advantage in that aspect that the AK just really can't compete. Traditionally, the AK shoots 5.45 or 7.62 by 39. Now, I know there are some AKs that do shoot 5.56 and are chambered in other rounds, but those are more like proprietary systems. They're kind of like one-offy, and they're pretty rare anyway. They're more rare than the AK is itself, which is already saying something. But we're just going to talk about the rounds that it is normally chambered in, which is 7.62 and 5.45. 5.45 particularly is incredibly rare, at least locally where I live. And I'm speaking, all this is coming from like a locality basis. So within about 200 miles of me. So 545 pretty much non-existent. I almost never see it. 7.62 is pretty rare. I mean, most stores that actually carry ammunition won't stock it. If they do stock it, they have a couple of 20-round boxes, and that's generally speaking about it. It's just for them, it's just not real profitable for them to try to keep a lot of that ammunition on hand when it doesn't move very well. In comparison, there's pallet loads of 5.56. I can go to the local gun store and just pick up a pallet, 1,000 rounds, or whatever quantity I want on any given day. I think it's obvious the difference in prevalence between the two weapon systems. The AR-15, this is the birthplace of that weapon system, so of course it's fairly common here. The AK, not so much. The AK, even less so in higher quality manufacturers and builds. Most of the builds that people are going to own are going to be imports by Century Arms, which a lot of those builds are not high quality and have had a reputation of injuring their users. I think this states my case pretty clearly. By no means is the AK a bad platform. It's just not the best for, in quotation marks, for SHTF. Well, this is all LARP anyway, so it doesn't even really matter. But thank you for everyone that allowed me to use your footage. I'm going to try to include your handles down below. And thank you guys for watching.